Well, good evening, racing fans. Welcome to Racing Action from Grand River Raceway for this Friday evening. First race will go to post in approximately 20 minutes. It's a nice warm evening here in Elora, Ontario. The temperature for the evening will be recorded as 26 degrees Celsius. The track is listed as fast, and the announcer will be listed as slow. Let's get a look at the changes. Starting in race number 1. In race number 1, scratched is 5, Shadow Moon Rising. Note that number 4, Southwind Braun, has a missing line from the 13th at Flamborough. 4th, beaten 1 3/4 in 155 and 1. 155 and 1. Brett McDonald did drive, by the way. That's for Southwind Braun, that missing line. Races 2, 3, and 4 have no changes. No changes, races 2, 3, or 4. In race number 5, it is 5, Cove Beach being scratched. And scratch number 6, Miss Italia. Race 5 scratches of 5 and 6. And races 6 and 7 have no changes. No changes, races 6 and 7. Race 8, number 2, Seal the Dark. Driver to be announced, and also note, bridle change, blinkers to open bridle. So that is race 8 to Seal the Dark. Driver to be announced, and the equipment change, blinkers to open bridle. And the 9th race, no changes. No changes, race number 9. Once again, reviewing races 1 and 2. Well, race 1, the 5 is out and 4, Southwind Braun, the missing chart line. 4th beaten 1 3/4, 155 and 1 with Brett McDonald driving. And races 2, 3, and 4, no changes. It is time to welcome in our handicapping expert live from the mansion in Newmarket from Margaritaville. Robert, how are you doing?
Doing fantastic, Gary. Is kind of delayed there. I didn't know what kind of introduction I was going to get from you there.
And I just want to chime in something. I'm
Okay.
really glad to see that you're not wasting away in Margaritaville either.
No, I'm not wasting away. No, we eat well here in Margaritaville. The margarita pizzas, which I'm going to make you eat one. Megan's convinced me that I have to bring you a margarita pizza next time I see you, and you've got to at least try it. I know you don't like green things on pizza and or food, but we'll get Gary to try a margarita pizza one of these days. Folks, it's a fantastic Friday here at Grand River Raceway, and we've got a great card for you. We've got 9 dashes, and we needed a day to recover from Wednesday night and all those big payoffs, and especially that pick 5, incredible payout of over $1,900 for a 20-cent ticket. And what was, I guess a gettable sequence. Of course, I didn't get it. Mike Perbrosi sure did, so he did a fantastic job that night. Garnet Barnsdale's doing the Ontario Racing picks tonight. We'll see how he does, alongside our picks, of course, on the program with Conley Stone as well. He'll be providing his picks. So we'll see how we all do tonight on this card. Of course, race 6 is going to be the big swing race again tonight with the nine dashes on the program. Race 6 will be the end of the early pick 4, the start of the late pick 4, as well as the high 5. And I love a horse in that race. So my whole night will hinge on race number 6 tonight. And I guess everyone's does, really, because a lot is riding on that one, wagering wise. But we'll be back in just a few moments to take a closer look at the pick 5, which gets started right away in race number 1. 8 minutes to post for the opener here on a fantastic Friday night at Grand River Raceway in beautiful Elora, Ontario. You know what time it is? It's pick five time. Time to take a closer look at the pick five sequence. Get started off right in race number one. Guaranteed pool, $2,500. It's a great look at some of our equine competitors tonight getting in the zone. Let's take a look at the ticket that I've got mapped out for you. And there were some scratches that affected it, and we're just missing the last leg there. But there's some scratches that affected my sequence here, and I decided to just stick with my guns and not add horses to it. And right now, I can tell you, I don't have the two favorites in the opener at this moment. I've got the 1 and 3 here in race number one. Dream Fair Sunshine. Love the fact this horse gets the rail. Thought he raced fantastic too back here at the river. I think he's going to be tough tonight. I really do. This horse has been in good form. I'm willing to forgive his last one in Sarnia, and I think he's got a big chance from the rail. And Doc's Philly Cheese, a horse that's been just winning races in bunches. I think you want to have him as well. I'm going to fade the 4 Southwind Brawn and the 6 Supervise the Moment. Go with those two, and again, try to start off with some value. Too deep in the opener. In the second race, too deep again with the 2 keep it in perspective, and the 3 she's got the luck. They finished 1-2 last time in this class. I think that they're going to be tough again, especially with their favorable draws. In race number 3, that's going to be our single, a horse that's coming in from Sarnia, has been racing well there, broke his maiden in the 8th start of his career, did so in fine fashion, and it hit the board in 5 of those efforts overall for the 4 previous to that one. And a horse that's always been in the mix and all of his career starts. Inkslinger, that's the 4 in race number 3. I think he's going to like the transition here to Grand River, and I think he's going to be very difficult to beat in there. So I'm going to single him, and that's where we're going to take our stand in race number 3 with the 4 Inkslinger. And then in race number 4, we're going to go with the 1, 2, and 6. The 1 is quite nice. The 2 is feeling fancy. That is my top selection on the race. The 6, Harlequin Romance. I hate the outside draw, but I mean, she's been bet down in the last 2. She's a horse that does have early speed. If she can get things worked out again, get to the front, I think she can win in there. So we have to have her in the ticket. 6, Harlequin Romance, is going to be on there as well. 3 deep in race number 4. And then the money leg, race number 5, just made a little bit more interesting by the scratch of the 6, Miss Italia. And we're going to go with the 1, 2, and 4. We were going with the 1, 2, 4, and 6, but now it's just going to be the 1, 2, and 4. The 2 Rock on Harriet was one I was on last time. I'm going back to her as my top selection, also adding in the 1 Better Sing It and the 4 Pennies Noir. So that ticket there will cost you $7.20 for a 20-cent ticket, and we've got significantly cheaper because of some scratches. But let's see what Gary Guy has in store for us tonight.
Well, first of all, I can tell you exactly how many combinations we have in common. 0. So at least it's easy to calculate. And look, in the first race right away, we have a difference of opinion. I still went with Doc's Philly Cheese on top. Disappointed with the scratch of 5 Shadow Moon Rising because I had 3 out of 6 horses. So I stayed with 3. I just, instead of the 5 being scratched, I just took my next horse, 3, 4, 6. Wanted to keep the math simple. In the second race, I have the 1 and the 2. Keep it in perspective. I think is the one to play in there, but I'm looking for a better start out of Let's Roar here in the second start back after having some problems and being sick. And I think Let's Roar might be able to roar. And I might get that one at a price because I think people will be shying away from Let's Roar. Race number 3, there's the reason why we have 0. I have the 2 Doc's Rock and the 6 1 Crazy Guy. I left Inkslinger off my ticket. In the 4th race, we see it the same way, although I have Quite Nice on top, and you have it in a different order, but we have the same horses. And in the 5th race, you said it got more interesting. It got less interesting because I had Miss Italia alone and got scratched, which was your 4th choice. So I wanted to see how that would have played out. So I just moved over and took my 2nd choice, Pennies Noir, and went alone with that. $7.20. We got the same price, but not the same horses.
Yeah, same price for Gary and I tonight, but very different. Usually I say same but different. Tonight we are very different because I feel very strongly about a single in race number 3. Gary doesn't even like him. We're going to call him Gutsy Gary Guy tonight. He says, nope, Inkslinger is not for me. He's going with the 2 Doc's Rock and the 6-1 Crazy Guy in that 3rd race. But you've got 3 minutes to map out your winning wagers for this pick five, which starts off in the opener. Guaranteed pool $2,500. We'll come back, take a closer look at the opening dash after the post parade.
Field 4, Race 1 on Parade 1, Dream Fair Sunshine, Scotty Calder for Jason Libby and John Lamers. And number 2 is the Lonely Charlie, Jason Ryan for Tim Jacobson and James Lewis. 3 is Donks Philly Cheese, Garrett Rooney for Brittany Kennedy and Money Clip Racing. 4 is Southwind Braun, Brett Madonna for Richard Moreau and Sylvain Cote. And number 6, Supervise the Moment, Colin Kelly for David Fry and Ron Nobes. Let's get a look at this field for race number 1. And we're going to start with number 1, Dream Fair Sunshine. One that, we have a bit of a difference of opinion here. But look at Dream Fair Sunshine certainly was racing well before that last race at Sarnia. So I understand. And I also understand post 1 at Grand River certainly can be a help.
It certainly can, and I think that we're just going to forgive that one, Gary. The one in Sarnia last time, he took support, probably because how well he raced to start before at Grand River. He had post 6, got away 6, wasn't really able to advance. I'm just going to toss that line off the program because we both commented on September 2nd how well he raced. He got away 6th. He moved wide around the turn. He was kind of flying late, only got beat half a length. And you look, his recent form's been really good other than that latest race. I mean, he hit the board in 5 straight before that. There he is scoring down there. Looks good on the track right now. The ears are up. He's got the rail to work from. I'm expecting him to blast off tonight. I mean, why not? You're not going to want to waste that spot. And last time he had it at Clinton, which was quite a ways back in June, he went right to the front, ended up finishing second. But I think he's in better form now. Again, we're going to forgive that latest and hope he returns to the way he raced 2 back, and I think he'll be tough to beat.
I do like the idea of you looking for the price because Dreamfair Sunshine at 6 to 1, you had to assume that Doc's Philly Cheese would take a lot of money and is 2 to 1 on the board. And I think Doc's Philly Cheese might at post time wind up being the favorite on a big roll right now.
Yeah, Doc's Philly Cheese has been racing fantastic. I mean, you just look at that paper he's got there. He won 4 in a row, and in his last 7, he's got 5 wins and 2 runner-up finishes. The season's been spectacular for Doc's Philly Cheese, and he, got the better of my top choice, 2 back by half a length. He won the race. Dream for Sunshine was third. I think Doc's Philly Cheese merits respect in here. I'm not surprised that the other two in the race, Southwind Braun and Supervise the Moment, have been taking money kind of throughout the betting cycle, because I think this is kind of like a race where it's hard to piece it together, like where these horses all fit in. But I think Doc's Philly Cheese is one that you have to have in the conversation, and it's hard to get him out of the top two, maybe even out of the top one. But I thought that we'd get a better price on Dream for Sunshine, but I definitely respect Doc's Philly Cheese. That's why he's on the pick 5 ticket.
And then number 4, Southwind Braun. You left off your pick 5 ticket, but you did choose this one third, and it'll be now the a start for Richard Moreau, and did race on the 13th, and it was a good effort from post 7 at Flamborough, fourth beat in a length and 3/4.
Yeah, he was making up ground in that effort, and post 6 is not the easiest spot there, obviously, and he made up ground before the wire. He took a lot of support, though, right? He was 6-5, and I mean, I thought he raced well, but I wasn't impressed with the fact where I said, okay, he's a horse I have to rush out and bet in this spot. I thought he would take more money than the 4-1 he's going off at right now. I thought he'd be maybe about 5-2, and Doc's Philly Cheese would be about 2-1. So I think that Southwind Braun's got a chance, but I'd rather go elsewhere.
I think the margarita pizza just showed up. You're the dog. Number 6, Supervise the Moment, is one that probably likes the fact that Shadow Moon Rising is scratched, because Supervise the Moment is one that likes to fire off the gate, and now there's one less horse to his inside. We'll see if the plan for Cullen Kelly is to fire, but certainly there's a lot of form with Supervise the Moment, and yet 10-1.
Yeah, the price at 10-1 is a little bit wild, obviously, but I would go the opposite way than a moment ago, because we saw like route 9-5 on the board. I think that's actually the opposite of the spectrum, being way too low. Horse is loaded with speed, no question about it, but there's also speed to his inside on here. Now, the scratch of Shadow Moon Rising helps think tremendously for Supervise the Moment, because that was a big-time speedster right to his inside. And now he's only got to work from post 5. Still the outermost post in the contest. I thought he could have raced better last time, though. He ended up finishing second, and I thought maybe he could have been a little bit better in that effort. So I think 10-1, great price, but I think you got to demand at least 4 or 5-1 on that one tonight.
And we might as well throw in a thought about number 2, because he's probably getting lonely, saying, well, what about me?
Well, he should feel lonely, actually, and maybe underappreciated, because he raced really well last time. We both commented that he was overland a long way before finishing third at 20-1. He just kind of gets lost in the mix in this race for me, because I think this is a pretty tough installment of non-winners of 30,000 lifetime, and there's not really a big variance between the best horse and the worst horse. That's why Doc's Philly Cheese right now at 1-2. I think that's not much value, and it's an overbet. I'm going to stick with Dream Fair Sunshine. Look for a bigger price, 9-2. Sign me up.
Well, that doesn't get lost on me that you went with the less well-backed choice. I like 9-2 on Dream Fair Sunshine. Much better than the 3-5 that I have on Doc's Philly Cheese. It's a field of 5. Dream Fair Sunshine on the inside with the Lonely Charlie in the center. Doc's Philly Cheese to the outside. Southwind Braun and Supervise the Moment. Field for the first race. Field of 5. There at the start of the rough. Supervise the Moment, Dream for Sunshine, Southwind Braun. It is Supervise the Moment who wants to drive right out and grab the lead and supervise this field into the backstretch. Then Southwind Braun is racing on the outside, and Dream for Sunshine on the pylons racing third. Then Lonely Charlie and Doc's Philly Cheese is getting lonely back there trailing the field. Supervise the Moment has got the front. Southwind Braun is racing second. Dream for Sunshine third. Lonely Charlie and Doc's Philly Cheese 26-3 the opening quarter. And Supervise the Moment. And Cullen Kelly's got the front. And Southwind Braun is racing position to second. Dream for Sunshine third. Lonely Charlie is fourth. And then Doc's Philly Cheese as they race their way on towards the half of a lively 26-3 opening quarter. Supervise the Moment and Cullen Kelly on top by length and 3/4 over Southwind Braun and Brett McDonald. Dream for Sunshine, Scotty Calder is third. Then it is Lonely Charlie and Jason Ryan. And then Doc's Philly Cheese and Garrett Rooney trails still. They race into the backstretch. Supervise the Moment has a lead right now of a length and 3/4. Southwind Braun, Dream First Sunshine, You'll Lonely Charlie. Now Dream First Sunshine is going to pull to the outside. Then You'll Lonely Charlie pulled out but stalled, and then Doc's Philly Cheese is still last. They hustle on to 3/4, and now Supervise the Moment is going to get company. Dream First Sunshine is moving up. 3/4, 124 and 2. Supervise the Moment, Dream First Sunshine. You'll Lonely Charlie is closing. Southwind Braun's on the inside, and Doc's Philly Cheese is still trailing. On down the stretch route they come. Supervise the Moment. Up the inside, Southwind Braun. And in the center of the track, Dream for Sunshine. Southwind Braun up the inside is going to win it. And then it was Supervise the Moment and Dream for Sunshine. 154 and 1. Southwind Braun. Well, they weren't impressed with the start Tuesday at Flamborough. How about the start Friday at Grand River?
Well, I mean, he got an absolute perfect trip. So we'll start with that. He ends up in the 2-hole. That was, I mean, my mic was muted, thank God, because I was really hoping Dream for Sunshine could get himself into the pocket, but ended up giving up that spot, and it ends up probably costing him the race because he has to come first over as a result of that, and then has to grind it out against a horse that's going pretty legit fractions on the engine, whereas the horse that sat in the catbird seat comes up the passing lane to win it by a slim margin on the end of it. I thought Dream for Sunshine raced fantastic. I can never get upset when I bet a horse at a price when they race like that. It just didn't work out. I think it was the right play, wrong result. But you can see that right there. Southwind Braun and Supervisor Moment hit the wire together.
And I probably was more confident that the 4 won it than it actually shows on the finish. So I think I might have got away with one because I think it's only a win of about 3 or 4 inches for Southwind Braun. But certainly an effort strong up the passing lane.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely, obviously, a nice effort, and the horse was claimed 2 back by Top Outfit and Richard Moreau, and now gets into the winner's circle second time for that barn. Better post to work from this time, and like I said, the trip really couldn't have worked out any better. I did not expect 26 and 3 and 55 and 1 from Supervise the Moment.
What really surprised me is that Doc's Philly Cheese really just didn't have anything.
No, not tonight. I mean, I think sometimes when horses are going those kind of numbers on the engine, it makes it harder, right, for horses to get into. People immediately think you're going to see a closer come into it, but sometimes horses just get outrun and they get bottomed out, and he wasn't really able to make a run tonight, but he'll be back.
Well, Kramer, you're out of the pick 5, and well, looking on to the second race. But back in front of us is number 4, Southwind Braun. Brent McDonough for Richard Moreau, the trainer, the owner, Sylvain Cote. 4-year-old sports rider Bay Gelding. It's the 2nd win this year, and the 9th lifetime. Southwind Braun, 154 and 1. The first race payouts for Southwind Braun, $680, $4 to 66. Supervise the Moment, $420 and $3.01. Dream Fairy Sunshine, $240, $2 exactor, $34.70, $1 try, $34.60, $1 super, $58. The first race order of finish from the top is at 3-4-5-1, scratch 2. That is 3-4-5-1, scratch 2 on the bottom. Field 4, race number 2 on parade. 1, Let's Roar, Tyler Moore for Meg Crone and Hut Racing. And number 2, Keep It in Perspective, Bruce Richardson for Paul Meekins and Stacy Newman and JJJ Stables. And number 3, She's Got the Luck, Tyler Borth for Sean Hyatt and Kyle Stratch. And 4, Premier Bettina, Paul McKenzie for Terry Gallant and Calvin Kepfer. 5 is Larjon Lena, Brian DeRoche for Mark Winnicott and Jim Maximo Racing. And number 6 is Saturn 5, Travis Henry for Matt Dupuy and Samuel Mulholland. And number 7, Bookie Baby, Garrett Rooney for Dean Wall and Wall-Time Staples, Field of 7 for the second race. And Rob, if we thought the first race was a pretty balanced bunch, this second race is much the same. And the fact that the tote board has some higher odds, it's just figuring out how they might get into the race from the outside post positions based on their racing style. But this is a really good balanced group.
I completely agree, Gary. This is a real nice installment of the condition claimer for filly and mares. $15,000 and hours of $65,000 life, and we see that a lot in these filly and mares claiming races. They're kind of evenly matched and they're tough to handicap. But I did think that there was 2 that you might want to kind of lean on today, and it was the 2 that finished first and second last time. Except I did flip them and Keep It in Perspective as my top choice because I thought she raced fantastic. She was overland for a lot of the mile, and she just missed. I mean, one more step, she would have got up for the victory. And I think this time around from post 2, she's going to be forwardly placed off the gate, and things will be different. They might have to run her down. So I like her chances 3-2. That's I would say that's probably the threshold. You'd probably want to get at least 9-5 or 2-1 on her. But I think she merits favoritism in here.
Well, we both landed on Keep It in Perspective as our top one. Your second choice, one that I've left off, is number 3, She's Got the Luck, and certainly is getting the action 8-5.
Yeah, 8-5 to me is an overbet, and it might just be an overreaction, right? People jumping into her camp because she was a winner last time from this same post, and I thought it was a good victory. She went to the lead from the same starting spot that she has tonight. She had a pretty clear margin for most of the journey, fought one off, and then held on by a head at the wire. So I think you have to use her tonight, but I'm not so sure you'd want to bet her at 9-5, or maybe like you did, maybe you take a stand against her at that price just because of like I said, there's an overreaction right now. She was 9-1 last time, and what do we always say? If you miss the wedding, you don't want to go to the funeral. Not saying that's going to happen tonight, but I do think that price is too short.
Number 4, Premier Bettina, has been a very consistent fringe player of late, and before that actually had some good starts as well. So it's a decent season for Premier Bettina, and he's 7-2.
I'll be interested to see how these odds shake out because I thought Premier Bettina would take more money than 7-2. I thought she might be the second choice in the betting. One of the reasons is that she's coming in for a cheaper tag than she's been racing for. She raced for $18,000 last time at Flamborough Downs, and those races before that are open claiming handicap events, which is way tougher than a condition claimer. So even though it was only a $13,000 tag 2 back, that's a tougher spot than where she's racing tonight. So post 4 to work from. She's been knocking at the door. You said she's a bit of a fringe player. She's hit the board, though, in 15 of 30 this year. And I think that, now 3-1, we're getting into the territory of the price she should be. I thought she'd be 5-2, and we might see that number by post time.
And there is a number 1, Let's Roar. I used this one second and on my pick 5. And I thought people would shy away because of the last race. But, look, people will say, I want to see a race. But if you see a race, you don't get 10-1. So I knew I could get a price. And Let's Roar on the inside. It has gate speed, so I'm taking a bit of a flyer, but at least 10-1.
Yeah, it's a big number on Let's Roar because you're moving from 6-hole to the rail. And like you said, second start back off, of a layoff, and there was 2 vet scratches due to sickness in there. So if things are sorted out with Let's Roar, we know what she's capable of. I mean, we've seen this mare do good things over this surface and other half-mile surfaces. She kind of started to get back to what she used to be, and then she missed some time. So maybe second start back off that, this might be the place to jump on her bandwagon again. Rail control 11-1. I mean, now 9-1. Even 9-1's a big price on her.
And I want to touch on number 6, Saturn 5, because Saturn 5 is one that I think that's an amazing effort. Last time it was way back and really working hard. And I think we've seen this one step up in spots. Hasn't maybe been consistent, but can be good 18 to 1.
Yeah, 18 to 1's a big number, but I think that's just like we said earlier, right? How do you kind of factor in the outside too because of their posts? I love Saturn 5 in a spot, maybe the trailing post or an inside starting spot. I can't get there from post 6. Could she get a small piece of it? She could, but that's my ceiling for her, probably a lot of end of the try or super.
Well, we both have number 2, Keep It in Perspective. In this field of 7, it'll be Let's Roar, Keep It in Perspective on the inside. In the center, she's got the luck in Premier Bettina and Larjan Lena to the outside, Saturn 5, and Bookie Baby. Field of 7, second dash on a fabulous Friday night as we're gathered at the river. Here they come. And the field for the second race is at the start of the rough. Keep It in Perspective and driving it large on Lena. Let's Roar on the inside, and she's got the luck, is racing fourth right now as they work their way into the turn. Let's Roar on the inside with Keep It in Perspective. Large on Lena is still pressing on the outside, and now is going to take back. And now it's Let's Roar and Keep It in Perspective, and Let's Roar. And Tyler Moore wants to roar on from the inside. Keep It in Perspective now going to try to back into the pocket in front of Large on Lena. Those are the first three. Then it is She's Got the Luck in Premier Bettina, Saturn 5, and Bookie Baby. Let's Roar at 8 to 1. Roaring past the opening quarter in 27 and 3. And leading Keep It in Perspective. Large on Lena third. She's Got the Luck is fourth, and then Premier Bettina and Saturn 5 and Bookie Baby. And they race their way off the turn. And it is Let's Roar and Tyler Moore. The birthday boy leads this dash up towards the half, and Keep It in Perspective is in the pocket. Here comes She's Got the Luck now, grinding up first over, being followed by Premier Bettina. Then it is Large on Lena, Saturn 5, and Bookie Baby. 57 and 2 the halftime, and it's at 29 and 4. Second panel breather. Let's Roar into the backstretch. Keep It in Perspective. She's Got the Luck. Large on Lena, Premier Bettina, then Saturn 5 and Bookie Baby. Let's Roar still leads it. She's Got the Luck is grinding. Keep It in Perspective is getting a trip, but Let's Roar now is getting closed on by She's Got the Luck as well as Premier Bettina, and now it is She's Got the Luck who's taken over Premier Bettina on the outside. Let's Roar backs away on the inside and blocking Keep It in Perspective, who's stuck on the inside. Larjan Lena is moving up, but it is Premier Bettina, and She's Got the Luck. Premier Bettina and She's Got the Luck, and then Saturn 5 on the inside. Let's Roar. On down the stretch drive they come. Premier Bettina now is powering away on the field. Premier Bettina with a premier effort to win it. She's Got the Luck was a game second. Then Bookie Baby and Saturn 5. Premier Bettina 156 and 3 did drop down to 8 to 5 as the closing odds. So did become the favorite after you mentioned that you thought that one would be the favorite, Rob.
Yeah, I thought she was going to take that support, and she did take it late. And you know what? Obviously, the race kind of did set up for a bit, but she was much the best. There's no question about it. She wins going away under the wire, Gary. And again, it's just kind of speaking to the fact that it was a pretty big, drop down in class. In that last condition claimer she was racing in, and before that, those open claiming races are infinitely tougher than condition claiming ranks. So Premier Bettina, wins going away. Maybe a bigger price in the multi-leg wagers, but went off as the favorite at 8 to 5.
And then we both like to Keep It in Perspective, but kind of got stuck when Let's Roar backed up.
Yeah, Keep It in Perspective ended up getting into a bit of a tough spot there because you're stuck behind a horse that ends up shortening stride, and it's tough to get your momentum going again right after that. So I think we just kind of forgive her for that effort, write it off, and hopefully next time she gets into a better spot.
You know who did race really impressively in second? She's Got the Luck.
Yeah, she did, and she's a horse that definitely seems to be coming around because now she's hit the board in 3 of her last 4 with a victory and 2 runner-up finishes. And 7 to 2 today. That was kind of, I expected her to go off at a bigger price, and it kind of shaked out the way I thought it would on the odds board. Just not necessarily in the order that I thought they'd land in.
And then you wondered how the outside 2 would get into the race. Well, they'd get onto the ticket by closing into it late.
Yeah, it's going to help things tremendously in these exotics here, right? Because not only are they the 2 outermost horses in the race, they're also both above 20 to 1 in the odds board. So the try and the super should be helped tremendously from that.
Well, I chirped you with the Kramer call after the first, and now, well, I'm Kramer. I'm out here of the pick five after two.
And now we're both in the sidelines. Love the Seinfeld reference, though. My favorite show.
Yep. We're out. Back in front of us is number four, Premier Bettina, 4-year-old betting line bay mare, owned by Calvin Kepfer, trained by Terry Gallant. The winning drive to Paul McKenzie. Mile of 156 and 3 for Premier Bettina, sixth win this year and 12th lifetime. The second race, payouts for Premier Bettina 540, 430, 310, 3. She's got the luck $7.70 and $3 and 6 Saturn 5, $6. Double at 4 and 4, 27.10. $2 exactor, $28.80. Try, 127.25. And the superfecta, 855.20. Second race, order of finish in the top. 7621534. That's 7621534.
Another beautiful shot of a gorgeous sunset in Elora, Ontario, brought to you by the broadcast team. And, well, I'm out of the pick five. Hopefully you're still trucking. But either way, we got the early pick four starting right here in race number 3. And there's a guarantee on that pool, too, at $2,500. And my ticket's going to be a very reasonably priced one tonight's. And it even gets a little bit cheaper by a scratch of the 6 Miss Italia in race number 5. So starting off here in race 3, Ink Slinger. That was our single in the pick 5. We're going to stick with that one. 6-5 on the board right now. Love the fact that he got his maiden breaking win last time in Sarnia. He's hit the board in 5 of 8 so far in his career. I think this one is really primed for a big effort tonight. So we're gonna single him here in the opening leg. Then we're gonna go with the 1, 2, and 6. The 2 Feel and Fancy being my top choice in race number 4, but 3 deep in there. And then in race number 5, 3 deep again. The 1, 2, and 4. The 6 Miss Italia is scratched. So we're 3 by 3 in the middle legs. We're gonna finish off with a key. And the key in that race is actually my best bet of the night. Number 3, Dalhousie in race number 6. And again, that is kind of the race that it's for all the marbles, as they say, because it's the end of the early pick 4, the start of the late pick 4, and it's also our super high 5 wager. So that race means a lot. And I'm going to take a stand on the 3, Dalhousie. So we're singling up there in that ticket Uh, with 3x3 now in the middle, just $1.80 for a 20-cent wager. So very economical. Again, we're going to start with a key, we're going to end with a key, and hope for the best in between. But you've got 3 minutes to map out your winning wagers for this early pick four sequence. Again, the pool is guaranteed at $2,500, and we'll be back in just a few minutes to take a closer look at this upcoming dash.
Field for the third on parade one is Astro Carnation, Jason Rod for Sean Hyatt and John Bell. Number 2, Doc's Rock. It's Travis Henry for Cassidy Schneider and Dr. Steve Taylor. And number 3, Running on Luck, Scott Calder for Sean Hyatt and Kyle Stretch. And number 4, Ink Slinger, Garrett Rooney for Peter Core and Don and Heather McGregor. And number 5, Shark Bite, Tyler Borth for Lori LePage and Rebecca Williamson. And number 6, One Crazy Guy, Brett Madonna for Robert McIntosh and Al McIntosh. Field of 6, race number 3, start of the pick 4, and let's get a look at this field. And the one that you're heavily siding with for Ink Slinger and Garrett Rooney is the favorite right now at 9-5, off a good start at Sarnia.
Yeah, it was a very good start at Sarnia. You got away in the 2-hole from the pole position, Gary, and then came out of that spot to take a commanding lead, and then won by as much as he pleased, and 57 flat. Now, I think that there's some horses in here that probably have shown similar speed, but I just think that he's been kind of racing well right from the word go. He's hit the board in 5 of 8 so far in his career. He's the only horse in the race that's already made a trip to victory lane, and 3-2 is about the price I expected. I thought maybe even closer to even money, but that kind of been fluctuating, from that number then back up towards 2-1 again. So I'm happy to have him singled in the multis. I won't bet a horse flat at that price, but I do think he'll be tough to beat in here.
You went with number three, Running on Luck, for your second choice, and yeah, that was a decent battling effort the last time out to close some ground, and also this will be the second start after missing one due to sickness.
Yeah, last time I thought he raced well. He came from out of it, and he kind of went wide around the last turn. He got within almost, within 4 lengths of Inkslinger. Finished third to that one. He's finished third in each of his last two at Sarnia. It starts here at Grand River. We're a little bit underwhelming, but I think he's made some gains since then. Not sure I like the way he just kind of scored down there. Got a little bit steppy, so that might drop him down on my rankings a little bit. But he has hit the board in 5 of 13, gets an inside post to work from. I think you've got to consider him. I knew the morning line was a little bit off because didn't get anywhere near Inkslinger last time, and he was 2-1 morning line while Inkslinger was 5-2. So I think there was going to be a bigger discrepancy in the odds.
Number two, Doc's Rock. I used this one on top, and I thought I might be able to get a wee bit of a price because of those last three starts at Mohawk. And we saw some good early speed from this one here.
Yeah, we have seen some early foot, and each of those efforts kind of short and stride late. But I mean, if you look who the horses were that were running him down, Dalhousie, Control the Smile. These are horses that we've been fans of, right? So you can kind of forgive him for those ones. And obviously, the starts at Mohawk Parks against infinitely tougher, and he's had to work from tough posts there as well. The outermost post 3 back and 8-hole last time. So I think that Doc's Rock's probably going to blast out of there. He might be one that can get away from this group. I just need to see him kind of finish his mile more before I can put him on top. 4-1 isn't a bad price on him. I expect him to take more support in that 8-1 morning line just because of the fact he's got an inside post with lots of early foot.
And then for my superfecta, I didn't bite on the 5-horse. You did.
Yeah, I thought Sharkbite qualified okay last time, and well enough that I could put him in the top 4. And I tried to toy with the idea of getting him higher up in the rankings. The problem is he's had the rail in all of his qualifiers, and now he shifts out to post 5. I mean, 18-1 to me, that might be just worth throwing some money away trying to get a bomb down here because, again, I thought he qualified okay. I think probably bottom end of the exotics is probably a better spot to use him tonight, but he's definitely one to watch for next time.
In this race, your top two are 4-3, and my top two are 2-6. Can you tell me about 6-1 Crazy Guy?
One crazy guy. I looked at it, saw the post, outermost spot in the race, and I just said, not for me this time because it made a break in his lifetime debut, then came back and kind of finished 5th as an overwhelming favorite, and then last time at Clinton post 7. You can forgive him for that one, but I still think I need to see more from One Crazy Guy. I left him off tonight because I haven't been impressed so far. But it's Bob McIntosh, so I wouldn't be surprised if this horse came out and raced much better this time.
Number 4, Inkslinger, was 1-5, now 2-5. That's why I went elsewhere with the 2 and 6. I just thought, I'm going to get a short price at Inkslinger, and I want to see who else I could find. We'll see how it unfolds. Do have 2 Doc's Rock at 6-1. It's Astro Carnation and Doc's Rock on the inside, in the center, Running a Luck at Inkslinger to the outside, Sharkbite, and One Crazy Guy. Field of 6 hits the third dash on a Friday night at the river. Here they come. Field for the third is at the start of the rough, and it is Doc's Rock Running a Luck. It now Sharkbite to the outside, and then Inkslinger, One Crazy Guy, and Astro Carnation trails the field. Sharkbite is going to swim right out and get the lead. Doc's Rock fills the pocket. Running a Luck is third. Then Inkslinger, One Crazy Guy, Astro Carnation is trailing. And right now, Sharkbite at 25-1. Sharkbite, Doc's Rock, though, is right there rocking the pocket. And then Running a Luck is racing third. Inkslinger is positioned fourth. And then it's One Crazy Guy and Astro Carnation, 29 seconds, the opening quarter. And Sharkbite in top of the fourth. with the front. And then Doc's Rock filling the pocket. Slinger now is going to work on the outside and come first over and is working third. Running a Luck is fourth. And then one crazy guy follows on the outside now and is following Slinger. And Astra Carnation trails the field. It is Shark Bite as they race their way on past the half off a 29 quarter. Half of 59 and 4, 30 and 4. Second pedal breather for Shark Bite on the outside. Slinger, but still in the pocket is Doc's Rock. Slinger is racing third and getting some urging it down. One crazy guy is going to roll off the back of Slinger and come out and is 3 wide. One crazy guy is moving crazy quick now and up to challenge Shark Bite. And then it is Slinger, center of the bracket on the inside. Doc's Rock is still on the back of Shark Bite. Then running a look at Astra Carnation. Shark Bite has driven on, and Shark Bite is in the jaws of victory now, but might have to deal with Doc's Rock, who's been getting a trip and now wheels to the outside three quarters, 129 and 3. Shark Bite, Doc's Rock, and running a look on the inside on down the stretch drive they come. Shark Bite, here it comes, Doc's Rock, up the inside, running on luck. It is Doc's Rock to win it, running on luck on the inside. Then Shark Bite and Slinger was fourth, 159 and 2. Doc's Rock at 3-1. Rob,
that tone of the fourth was directed at me, Gary, wasn't it?
well, would I do that?
I think you would. Listen, Slinger for me, first of all, he was the favorite. We'll talk about him briefly. Just kind of one pace, right? Like kind of tried to go first over, really couldn't make any gains, then kind of came on again when a horse tried to loop him on the outside, ended up finishing fourth. But Doc's Rock, like we talked about the class relief for this one, the inside post. I thought he was going to be the horse that would go out to the early lead. He ends up sitting a pretty decent trip in behind the speed there, then comes out around him to score by a slim margin at the end of it. But I mean, the horse I want to talk about is actually Shark Bite, because one that you're expecting first lifetime start, maybe he's going to be taken back off the gate, maybe learn a few things. We went right to the top. So I mean, the assessment of the qualifier was correct. He qualified pretty well, but just couldn't close it out at a huge price of 25-1. But one we've got to take note of for next time.
Yeah, not only did he learn a few things, we learned to look for Shark Bite. That was a really strong effort. I wasn't sure if Doc's Rock was going to finally get him, but then into the deeper stretch, it was obvious that Doc's Rock was going to get on by. Running a Luck managed to scoot up the inside, Shark Bite and Slinger, and, I would do that.
Yeah, you would do that, of course. Yeah, running on Luck, I thought raced really well. Slinger, I thought didn't look comfortable right off the word go. I kind of knew that I was cooked there, and 1-2 odds, it's not a good feeling. You see a horse like that kind of toiling, and I think we'll watch for him next time. But I think I'd put a circle around Shark Bite for the one we want to play out of this group.
Well, it is a good feeling is when your top one comes back into the winner's circle. Doc's Rock at 3-1. A 3-year-old Control the Moment Bay Colt, owned by Dr. Steve Taylor of Kitchener. Cassidy Schneider is the trainer. Travis Henry, the winning driver. First win for Doc's Rock, 159 and 2. The third race payouts. Number 2, Doc's Rock, 894, 10 and 280. 3, Running a Luck, $5 and $3.20, and 5, Shark Bite, $4.10. $2 Exactor, $36. Dollar Trap, $99, $60 Superfecta, $276.60. third race or a finish in the top. So 512436. That's 512436. Field for the fourth race on parade one. Quite nice. Ramp it on for Bob McIntosh and Al McIntosh. Number 2 is Feelin' Fancy, Travis Henry for Blake McIntosh and Hunt Racing. 3 is Recycle, Scott Colt for Anthony Beaton and Hunt Racing. And number 4, DG's Tesla, Colin Kelly for Chantel Mitchell and Daniel Supernaut and Guy Fortin. And number 5 is Matthews Rita. It is Tyler Borth for Lori LePage and Rebecca Williamson. And number 6, Harlequin Romance, Jay Harris for John Copus and Drybar Stables. Field of 6, race number 4, we get the 2-year-old fillies on the pace. And, well, we're going to start with number 2, Feelin' Fancy. And fancy that, the favorite at 7-5 on the board off a second place finisher last time out.
Yeah, it was an okay effort to finish second to Getting Euchred. That was one that you were fond of on that occasion, and won by a real wide margin. This one ended up finishing second. Granted, it was more than 5 lengths back at the wire, but she did win before that at Hanover. She went to the lead on that occasion and won pretty handily at 4-1. Start before that probably could have raced a little bit better, but I think she's been an improving type. And she's got inside speed. I think we're going to see that flashed again tonight, and she's going to likely sit either on the lead or in the 2-hole. I would think probably more on the lead tonight, but even money, not too much appealing about that, but I do think she's the one to beat, Gary.
And then Harlequin Romance, one that we would love on the inside, don't love quite as much from the outside.
Yeah, it's tough to put her on top from out there, and the last couple of efforts, she's been steppy at times. She's kind of not looked as smooth as she did when she won by as much as she pleased on August 22nd. How does it work out from post 6? Well, if she can fly off the gate and do so, without having any trouble with that opening turn, then I think she certainly has a big chance. But, I think I have to see that now before I get too confident in her again. But 2-1, I would say, is a bit of an overbet from out there. But is she with a chance? Absolutely.
Number 1, Quite Nice, is one that, well, you've probably seen a little more of lately than I have, but a little bit that I did see this one here. I actually thought some nice things about this filly. Inside post, Bob McIntosh.
That's kind of the key tonight, isn't it? She gets the work from the pole position. Her first start of her life, she had the 8-hole here at Grand River. She ended up, rallying into second. And since then, she's had 3 fourth-place finishes. Really, she hasn't done much wrong, all things considered. And again, that post relief should help. Her latest effort at Mohawk Park was okay. She just sat an inside trip and finished with some pace, coming home in 28 seconds flat to PA Delight. I think that it kind of just depends how the race shakes out. I mean, if she can get away well off the gate, she'll be in good order. But I think if she has to work first over, I'd be a little bit concerned for her chances. So I like her on the trifecta. 3-1 is probably about the right price.
And number 4, DG's Tesla could really electrify that to pick 5 at 19-1.
Yeah, DG's Tesla was just one that I thought, again, it made up ground in that qualifier. And it was one of those ones that I looked at and said, okay, I didn't think it was, all that bad. Came home in 30 seconds, back half in a minute. She's 20-1 on the board. Again, you're taking a flyer on her, being ready to roll in the first start of her career. Not the worst horse to use for a price underneath.
And then the one that I used underneath was number 3, Recycle. And look, this filly's not garbage. I mean, look at last time out at Flamborough, finished 4th, 58-2, compares reasonably well, and a good little third panel, 28-4.
Yeah, no, I think she's one that you can look at and say that she's got a reason to kind of improve in this spot, getting back to Grand River Raceway, and she did finish 4th here in her lifetime debut, and she's got some experience. And again, 10-1. It's a 2-year-old pacing fillies. We can see horses really, step up from their last start. So I'm never gonna, begrudge anyone for trying to look for value in these spots. And Recycle's providing that right now.
And by the way, while I have a moment, I'd like to extend a happy birthday to Tyler Moore. It's Tyler Moore's birthday. And by the way, if there was a driver's announcing contest, if we were to have another one of those, Tyler Moore would be 1-9 in that field. At least that's the way I would book him.
Really? Wow. Is he? You've heard him call a race before?
Yes, and he just stepped right up and look. I mean, obviously it's not that hard because
You
what
can do
what
it.
can I say?
Well,
But
I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to find tape of that because I'm a big fan of Tyler Moore's, and obviously happy birthday to Tyler, and I'd love to hear him call a race.
he was very, very good. Like I said, he would be 1-9 in a field of drivers calling a horse race. But as I said, it doesn't take a whole heck of a lot because present company explains that. Field taking up their positions. It's a field of 6, quite nice and feeling fancy on the inside. Recycle and DG's Tesla. And to the outside, Matthews Rita, Harlequin, Romance. Field of 6, race number 4, it's post time. Field is at the top of the stretch. Into the stretch they come. They're at the start of the rough. Feeling fancy Harlequin Romance and quite nice on the inside. Recycle DG's Tesla. Matthews Rita trails the field. They sprint into the first turn. Feeling fancy, quite nice. Feeling fancy. Now is going to drive up and take the front. Quite nice is at a quite good spot right there in the pocket. Harlequin Romance is racing third. Then it's a gap of 2 or 3. Recycle is fourth, and then DG's Tesla. And Matthews Rita trails the field. Feeling fancy is going to flow on past the opening quarter with a lead of a length and a half. 28 3 is that opening panel. Quite nice in the pocket. Harlequin Romance is third. Then it is Recycle and DG's Tesla and Matthews Rita, and they work their way off the turn and they come on towards us. Feelin' Fancy's got the front. Quite nice, and Brett McDonald's on the back of Feelin' Fancy and Travis Henry. Harlequin Romance and Jay Harris is on the inside racing third, and then it's a gap of a length and a half and back to Recycle. Then DG's Tesla and Matthews Rita. 58 4 is the halftime. 30 second panel breather for Feelin' Fancy. Quite nice is keeping a watch on Feelin' Fancy. Harlequin Romance is third, and there goes Quite Nice right now, and is going to move, and Quite Nice alongside Feelin' Fancy, and Quite Nice is nicely taken the front. Feelin' Fancy draws back, and Harlequin Romance now has moved out, and it is Quite Nice. Harlequin Romance is getting closer. Quite Nice. Harlequin Romance, Feelin' Fancy. Then DG's Tesla, Recycle, and Matthews Rita 3/4, 128 2. And it is Quite Nice and Harlequin Romance. Then it is Feelin' Fancy, and bursting onto the scene as DG's Tesla is electrified on the outside as they come on down the stretch drive. Quite Nice, but on the outside, charging to the finish. It is DG's Tesla. It is close, but DG's Tesla maybe Quite Nice is on the inside. And then Harlequin Romance and Feelin' Fancy, 158 4, hits another photo finish, Rob.
Yeah, it was close on the wire. It's tough when they're that far apart too. It makes it a little more difficult. Who did you think it was, Gary?
Well, that's why I gave the maybe call, but I'm going to go with the outside on the Tesla. That's why I gave it the maybe call.
Yeah, I thought it was potentially that when I heard Christine say she thinks it's the 4, and yeah, that shot there, I'm gonna say it was DG's Tesla. You know, this is the horse that we kind of highlighted as the first time starter to be wary of, and getting the job done at a real big price here. You know, she kind of like she was gonna blow right by, and then probably just was wondering what to do here, her first start of her career, and then does accelerate up to get the victory.
Back-to-back races where we get a first-time starter that puts up a big effort. Opposite style, Shark Bite flew out early, and in this case, we had DG's Tesla coming from out of it.
Yeah, it wasn't. You know, we could see on the turn though she was kind of really, getting into herself and starting to find her best stride. And sometimes these horses when they race under the lights for the first time, they take a big step forward off those qualifiers. I thought the last qualifier was a good one. I did not know that she was going to go do this tonight, or I would have had her on a few more tickets at that price of 22-1. But Chantal Mitchell, training this one, she had a first time starter win just the other day at Mohawk Park, and she gets another one here at Grand River.
Well, and we were talking about the pick five price on Wednesday night. It's going to be a bit of a price tonight as well.
Yeah, this one certainly helps things, right? When you get a bomb like this, especially in a race where you're so heavily involved in a few horses, right? People aren't going to see outside of them. I didn't. I used the 1, 2, and 6 on my ticket, and I couldn't really see anyone else winning other than those ones. But DG's Tesla, a horse that I thought had a big chance underneath at a price, goes out and actually wins the race at a big number.
Well, coming back in front of us is number 4, DG's Tesla, a 2-year-old shadow play black filly owned by Daniel Spernat and Guy Fortin. Chantel Mitchell is the trainer. First career start, victorious for DG Tesla. DG's Tesla, the winning drive to Colin Kelly. The fourth race. Payouts for DG's Tesla 4640, 1070, and 460. One quite nice, 320, 276. Harlequin Romance 320. $2 exactor, $140 to $80 tribe, $195, $40 super, $1,032.55. Fourth race, so we're finishing the top. 245163. That's 245163. Field 4, race number 5 is on parade. It's the Manulife SA Waterloo Pace. One better sing. It's Scott Calder, Anthony Beaton, and David Mercer. Number 2 is Rock On, Harriet, Brent Madonna for Graham Burgess. And number 3, Clothes, Optional, Garrett Rooney for Sean Hyatt and Kyle Stratch. And number 4, Pennies to Watch, Travis Henry for Greg Graham and William Beecham. Let's get a quick look at this field, and we're going to start with number 1, Better Sing It. A correction. We're gonna start with the 2. I guess I got it messed up. Rock on Harriet.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay, Gary. It's okay. By the way, I listened to that race call from Tyler Moore real quick since we only have a 4-horse field, and it was fantastic. Great race caller. And he sent me a message. Tyler said thank you for the shout out, and that he thinks he needs to get up there and call another race soon.
Listen.
There it is. Yeah, it was a great job. Really was. I was very impressed by it. But yeah, so he says he wants to call another one soon, so we should probably try to get that in the works. But Rock on Harriet here, Gary. First of all, these pick 5s, only 2 of them are paying, so we've got a shot at a carryover. A couple of obviously big payouts, almost $1,000 in the one Better Sing It, almost $1,400 on the 2 for 20 cents, and that's where I went here. Rock on Harriet, I thought last time, didn't get the most variable trip, all things considered, got away 7th off the gate, had to close up to be 4th, and I thought she had pace again. I thought she had pace 2 back, I thought she had pace last time, and now I'm hoping she can get away better from post 2. It's only a 4-horse field, so it really doesn't matter where she gets away. There shouldn't be a trouble trip here, right? So as long as she can get clear sailing on these ones, I hope she has a chance. 19-1, that price is a little bit wild. I think we're going to see that change come post time. Better Sing It right now, 1-9 on the board.
Well, and 1-9 is that price. You Better Sing It, but you went against that one as your top one, right?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I think that Better Sing It's got a good chance here. You got to like the fact that you're coming over from a lot of starts at Mohawk Park, but 0 for 15, right? Now, Rock on Harriet's 0 for 19 this year, but one horse is 1-9 and one horse is 18-1. I'll take the bigger of the 2. Oh, did I lose Gary? There's Better Sing It on the track right now, and again, Better Sing It. I don't think merits being 1-9 on the board, but I do think is one that you've got to give consideration here. She's got the pole position, and she's a horse that has been facing tougher in many of her starts. So again, I liked those 2 the best here. Those are the 2 that are paying in the pick 5. But if we get either Close Optional or Pennies Noir down, we'll see a nice carryover.
And number 4, Pennies Noir, is the one that if the pick 5 was alive, I was going to wind up with a loan because of the scratch of Miss Italia, but only 1 win in 25 starts.
Yeah, that's kind of the story for the whole field, right? I mean, all these horses are extremely camera shy. I mean, you can look up and down the program and count all their victories on your hands, really. So I thought Pennies Noir is one that's not without a chance in here. I think right now, if that's the one you like at 10-1, no problem swinging away at that price. But I'm just not so sure these horses are all going to stay at those longer prices. I can't imagine Better Sing It goes off at 1-9.
Number 3, Close Optional. I don't see fans streaking to the windows to bet this one at 4-1 and now 9-2. No matter how I flesh out this race, I don't come up with Close Optional being on top.
Man, you had all of them there. But close Optional for me is listen, 5-1 to me personally. I think it's an over bet right now because that means that 9-2 she's second choice. I think Rock on Harriet deserves more respect than she's getting right now on the board, and I think that Pennies Noir deserves a little more respect as well. So, Close Optional right now taking the bulk of the support as the one underneath, and I think that she's more likely to follow the Try or the Super for me. But it's a 4-horse field. Sometimes funny things can happen in these shorter fields. But 1-5 on Better Sing It, I'm still going to stay at it. It's an over bet.
Well, and with 2 of the 4 horses giving us a carryover in the pick 5, certainly it's an interesting observation in this race, and we have 2 that are paying out. So some fans are interesting watching the 1 and 2 in here.
Oh yeah, they'll be sweating on those ones, and the thing is, everybody else, much like the situation we had on Wednesday, they're watching on bated breath, hoping for the carryover, right? So they can get their money back into play and sharpen their pencils for Monday night. So it'll be interesting. 2 horses pay, 2 don't. We'll see who comes out on top.
Well, a field of 4 for race number 5. We've had drivers call races. One of these days we need to have someone from a remote location call a race, because I don't think that's ever been done either. It's a field of four for race number 5, the Manulife SA Waterloo Pace, and Better Sing It on the inside with Rock on Harriet and Clothes optional in the center, and to the outside, Pennies Noir. Field for the 5th race is at the start of the rough. Rock on, Harriet, Better Sing It. Close optional and Pennies Noir. They're going to leave out 4 abreast charging into the turn. Better Sing It on the inside. Rock on, Harriet, close optional and Pennies Noir. They get away in program order, and Better Sing It leads the choir to the opening quarter. Rock on, Harriet rocks the 2 spot. Then close optional, and Pennies Noir is racing 4th in this field of 4 as they roll on past that opening quarter, and Better Sing It at 1 to 5 is enjoying this tune so far. Leads at a length and 3/4 of a Rock on, Harriet. Then Clothes Optional is on the inside, racing 3rd, and then Pennies Noir. They race their way off the turn, and they come on towards us. Better Sing It and Scotty Coulter leads it by a length and 3/4. Rock on, Harriet is 2nd. Clothes Optional is 3rd. And then Pennies Noir. Halftime, 58-1, 29-4, second panel. And it is Better Sing It at 1 to 5 who leads them into the backstretch. Rock on, Harriet is racing 2nd. Clothes Optional 3rd. And Pennies Noir. It is Better Sing It, leaving the rest of the field a bit desperate for some challenging effort here, as Rock on Harriet is racing 2nd, and then about 4 lengths back, Close Optional and Pennies Noir as they roll their way on to 3/4. Better Sing It. Now Rock on Harriet's rocking a little closer. It is Better Sing It and Rock on Harriet, Close Optional and Pennies Noir, and now the back two are getting a little closer. Better Sing It leads it by about a length and 3/4. Rock on Harriet is rocking to the outside. Better Sing It as they come on down the stretch drive. Better Sing It. Rock on, Harriet. Better Sing It in the key of B sharp wins it. Then it was Rock on, Harriet, Close Optional, and Pennies Noir. It comes in program order 1, 2, 3, 4. 157-1. Better Sing It.
Yeah, Better Sing It gets the job done. And again, likely, that significant class drop from those races at Mohawk Park or what helped her get to the wire, right? This is a much softer group than what she's been facing. I just had seen her lose in some spots that I thought that she should have got the job done in. And I think just that softer group tonight helped her get to the wire first. But I can't be upset with the effort from Rock on Harriet, a horse that I've been kind of waiting on because I thought she's had some trouble trips. She raced well tonight to finish 2nd. He was closing at the wire, but just couldn't get there.
Well, Better Sing It was sharp, definitely B sharp, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and we do get the pick 5 to pay out. Still a decent price.
It is actually, considering too, this horse is 1 to 5 because you're not seeing 1 to 5 in that pick 5 payout. Almost you're getting $9.60 for 20 cents versus $13.74 for 20 cents on Rock on Harriet, and we never really got much to cheer for the carryover camp, right? The people cheering for the bigger pool on Monday night never really got to cheer because Close Optional and Pennies Noir never really got into the race.
Now the 1 and 2 kind of got away on them, and there was a moment there it looked like maybe the 1 would slow down a bit, but no, in the key of B sharp, it was Better Sing It. By the way, what's another name for the key of B sharp? What would you more logically call it?
The key of B sharp? I have absolutely no idea.
Would be the key of C.
Okay.
There you go.
That's good to know.
Well, just throwing it in there because actually C is, is semitone up from B. B sharp is the key of C. Anyway,
okay.
Back in front of us is number 1, Better Sing It, a 3-year-old better than Cheddar Bay filly, owned by Anthony Beaton and David Mercer. Anthony Beaton's the trainer. Scotty Coulter is the winning driver. It's the first win for Better Sing It, 157-1. The fifth race pouch, the 20-cent pick five. 5 of 5 is 960, 71. One better sing at 250, 210, 210. Two rock on Harriet, 350, 210. And three clothes optional, 210. $2 exactor, 630. And the dollar super, 760. The fifth race. Order of finish 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Double scratch. Field for the 6th on parade. 1 is the El Gladiator. Jason Ryan for Adrian Hickey and James Lewis. Number 2 is Night Out. It's Brett McDonald for Bob McIntosh and Randy Lipa. 3 is Dalhousie, Travis Henry for Jim Kerr and Bill Ramage. And number 4 is Can Be a Treasure, Scott Quiller for Cassidy Schneider and Robert Chappell. 5, That Moment in Life, Lauren House for Tim Myers and David O'Macaulay. And number 6 is Fiscal Policy, Mike Horner for himself. And number 7, Drowns the Whiskey and Natasha Day for Jack Moisey, Joanne Colville, and Nancy McNevin. Number 8 is J.J. Tommy, Colin Kelly for Kyle Bossins, and Frank Brundle, and Angelo DeLellis. Let's get a look at this field for race number 6, and we're going to start with number 3, Dalhousie, the one that we both like on top. And I have often liked horses that Jim Kerr sends out. Smaller barn now, but Dalhousie is 3-2.
Yeah, 3-2, and I think he merits being the favorite. He's been so good so far throughout his career. He's had 7 starts, 4 victories, 2 seconds. Last time was second here, beating a neck. That was from post 7. He showed some good snap off the gate to get away in the 3-hole. Went first up. He's had to go first up in quite a few of his efforts so far in his career, and he's won from that position multiple times. Was even a winner at Mohawk Park too, back when he got up the inside by a nose to beat Heart of Dixie right in the line. So I think he's a sharp horse. He's got to be confident, and he's done good things so far. Every time he steps in the track. So I can't go against him here, Gary. I've been a fan of him from the very beginning, and I'm going to stand his bandwagon even at 6-5.
Number 1, EL Gladiator is your second choice, and we both went to the inside 3 in the top 3 spots, but you put the 1 in front of the 2, and I reversed it. But EL Gladiator's been off since May the 5th.
Yeah, he's been off since May the 5th, but those 2 qualifiers were pretty good tighteners, weren't they? August 31st here, 56 flat by as much as he pleased. And then at Mohawk Park last time by 17 and 55 and 3. I actually watched that qualifier a few more times just in the last few minutes, and he was under a huge hold by Jason Ryan to the wires. So, I mean, it was all on his own, and I think that he's got to, be considered in here because he's a horse that, is really showing some flashes of some good things when he went 2 for 7 as a 2-year-old and even raced well in defeat at Mohawk Park and onwards at 2 April 28th. So I think 7-2 is probably an overlay right now. Neil Gladiator, he should be good to go, work from the rail, and that's going to be my main player underneath.
You must have to buy a lot of margarita pizza for your wife to be happy with you watching multiple qualifiers from Grand River.
Yeah, well, yes. She knows the gig. It's watching horses 24/7, so.
Number 2, Night Out, is Brett McDonald and Bob McIntosh. You got to use this one somewhere on the ticket.
Yeah, I think so. I was a little bit disappointed with the effort last time, and I think that's probably why I relegated him to the 3rd spot today. Maybe I'm being too hard on Night Out, but he got away in the 2-hole from the trailing post. I was so excited because that's exactly what I thought he would do, and then he just seemed kind of empty. He did come home in 28 and 4, but he lost ground to both Ponderance and Dalhousie, so I certainly can't put him in the same regard as Dalhousie, and I think that EL Gladiator might be, pound for pound a tougher horse as well, except he probably has a fitness edge on that one, even off those qualifiers. So I like Night Out for 3rd. I think with post 2 is going to just fall off the gate, set a nice trip, and should be, with the in the trifecta at the wire anyways.
We both used the inside 3, and then we both went to the same horse for the 4th spot. Who's that one?
Who's that one? You make me look at my selections again. See, you always give me the next horse, and now you're going to make me look at who I actually picked.
Well,
it's
the 6.
The 6. Yeah, Fiscal Policy. Okay, well, Fiscal Policy. Gary's got me on my toes tonight, eh? Asking me music trivia and now,
but I won't be asking you any film trivia now. I've learned.
Yeah, exactly. You don't go in my wheelhouse, right? Fiscal Policy, a price play underneath, right? I thought he's been racing pretty well. Last time I used him in the lower end spots of the exotics, This time around, I think he can get there again, even from post six. He's a horse that certainly doesn't hit the top two very often. Has only hit one on the board finish, but he has been knocking at the door and getting pieces. So if you're going to go with some favorites up in the top end of it, you've got to look for a bigger price on the end of that super high five. Fiscal Policy is one of the ones I'd be using.
Well, it is a field of 8 for the Super High 5. It's the Pioneer Septic Solutions pace, this 6th dash, and it is a field of 8. The inside 3 are flush with talent, but we'll see if we get an upset in this 6th race, the Pioneer Septic Solutions pace. And Yale Gladiator, Night Out with Dalhousie on the inside of the center. Can Be a Treasure, that moment in life to the outside. Fiscal Policy drowns the whiskey, and J.J. Tommy. Field of 8, race number 6, here they come. It's a field of 8 for the 6th dash. They're at the start of the rough, and Yale Gladiator, Night Out, Dalhousie, Fiscal Policy. Then that moment in life as they charge and into the turn, Can Be a Treasure. Then it is back to Drowns the Whiskey, and J.J. Tommy. Yale Gladiator leads it by about 3.5 right now. Night Out is second, Dalhousie third. That moment in life is racing fourth at this moment. Then it is Fiscal Policy and Can Be a Treasure and Drowns the Whiskey, and J.J. Tommy trails the field. E.L. Gladiator, even money on the board, sharing status with Dalhousie as the favorite, and has a lead about 2.25. Night Out got a little rough right now, but is right now able to stay on the pace. And then Dalhousie is racing position to third, then fourth in line. That moment in life. Then it is back to Fiscal Policy and Can Be a Treasure, and Drowns the Whiskey, and J.J. Tommy. E.L. Gladiator is a gladiator so far for Jason Ryan. 57-1 is the halftime, and has the lead as they roll their way on into the backstretch. Night Out is racing second, Dalhousie third. That moment in life is racing fourth, and now Fiscal Policy is going to pop on the outside, and Dalhousie took out from third, is trying to close on Yale Gladiator, and they roll up to 3/4. Yale Gladiator. Dalhousie now on the outside has come on to take over second. Night Out is racing third. Then that moment in life is trying to retake fourth and grab it back from Fiscal Policy, and has done so. 3/4, 125 and 3. Dalhousie on the outside. Yale Gladiator is clinging to a tenuous lead as they turn for home. Dalhousie and Yale Gladiator with Night Out racing third on down the lane. Yale Gladiator on the outside. Dalhousie. E.L. Gladiator is one that was a gladiator throughout the mile. Dalhousie second, Night Out third, and that moment in life 154-1. E.L. Gladiator. Rob, I had Dalhousie at the top of the stretch penciled in as the winner, and, well, I got to change that.
Yeah, I think that, just Dalhousie, a little too much work to do first over there against a horse that, had really been cranked up nicely with a pair of qualifiers and a talented pacer in his own right. EL Gladiator was doing it all on his own last time under such tight lines, coming on with 27 and 3 in that qualifier. And then we see that horse come out tonight and take a further step forward. That's a big mile. It's a real big mile. 54-1 over this surface tonight. And, the big back half, everything. Dalhousie, I thought was going to maybe grind him down just on a fitness advantage. But EL Gladiator says no way and holds him off. I think EL Gladiators are one to circle. Put a big circle around for next time.
Well, the tote board certainly got it right. The 1 and 3 went off both at even money, and they were pretty even as they were turning for home. But EL Gladiator was able to hang tough, and that was your top 2 were 3 and 1. I was fooled into biting on Night Out. Got away second again, and could not close on to it. Now at least stuck around for third.
Yeah, he stuck around for third. He kind of just needs that, right? He needs a favorable trip, and I'm just not so sure that he's really, well, he showed tonight. He's not up to task with those two, right? They were kind of heads and shoulders above the rest of the pack here. Night Out can certainly handle, I think, a softer group, but we saw last time, perfect trip and was backing away in the stretch. So I think for him, probably needs just some softer company, but still hits the board with frequency. So not a bad horse to own.
Well, the 6th race, the top 5, 1, 3, 2, 5, 6. And One Eel Gladiator will be back in front of us. The sixth race, the Pioneer Septic Solutions Pace, and One Eel Gladiator, a 3-year-old up the credit. Bay Colt, owned by James Lewis of Angus, Ontario, trained by Adrian Hickey. It's the first win this year, third lifetime EL Gladiator, the winning drive to Jason Ryan. The sixth race payouts: one EL Gladiator for $32.70, $273. Dalhousie 250 and 240 and 2 Night Out 340. Dollar High Five 159.15. $2 Exactor is $650. Dollar Try $645. And the dollar Win for $655.05. The sixth race order of finish from the top 132 64587. That's 132 64587. Field 4, race number 7 on parade. 1, Dusty Lane Morgan, Brepadonna for Tom Chanel. Number 2, Mystic Messenger, Jonathan Hahn for Bruce Squide. Number 3, Cindy's Party Boy, Bo Brown for Tisha Symes and Charles Symes. And 4 is Shipping Out, Jay Harris for Jim Stewart and Greg Mason, claim entered. And 5, Mr. X down the board for Sean Hyatt and Kyle Stretch. And number 6, Bravado Seals Republic Engine for Christina Saudi. Field of 6, race number 7. Well, let's get a look at this field, and we'll start with number 4, Shipping Out, Jay Harris for Jim Stewart. Won pretty handily at Flamborough last time out.
Yeah, I thought this was kind of a tricky race, Gary. I did land with Shipping Out on top, and the claimed horse too, so you got to like that about his chances. He was an easy winner. Now, he had the pole position on that occasion, but he went to the front, and really it was never in doubt at 55 cents to the dollar. And I think he faces a comparable field this time around, and I thought he would take more support than the 4-1 that he's offering right now. I like that price. He's a horse that's kind of versatile. He can go to the front. He can also rough it first over or race off a helmet. So I think Shipping Out is where I'd want to land, and if that price holds, that's a good number on him.
And definitely one that's just a few pennies short of the 300,000 mark, and 4-1 on the board. The claim is in on the 4, Shipping Out as well. Also note that. But you got also another veteran here at the Shipping Out's a 10-year-old. There's the 11-year-old Mystic Messenger, and 5-1 on the board.
Yeah, and dug deep to win last time. Remember, that was a real close photo between him and Bravado Sealster. And he took a lot of heat too, right? He battled around the final turn. I mean, those are legit fractions, 27-1, 56-4, 126-2. Yeah, he came home in 31 seconds, but those fractions were pretty serious on the engine. He moves out one spot tonight to post 2, but still is loaded with speed. Love the way that he was just scored down. And I think he's going to be trying to blast off the wings of the gate again. I think he's an overlay at 6-1. He offered almost 8-1 last time, but he's got a chance. Especially, I think he probably would be better if he gets covered up this time around. I think because I don't know if he can withstand as much heat as he took in his latest.
Rob, the tote board's been really bouncing around. Fans are not sure which way to go. It's a pretty balanced bunch. Number 6, Bravado Sealster, last time out from post 8, was enormously impressive.
He was, and that's why I think you have to consider him again here tonight from post 6, because he's not even in for the tag. He fits the class on the condition that he hasn't won a race this year, but he certainly came close last time, only losing by a nose, and I thought he actually got there. He just missed a 38-1, made a huge move on the final turn, and came home, and it was 29-4, but it was impressive. I mean, he swept by a lot of horses in that race like they were standing still, and I think that might work out here, and he won't have as far to come. Even if he gets away last, he's only coming from 6 as opposed to 8. So I think you've got to like his chances. 3-1, I think, might be an overbet in my opinion. I think you'd want to get around 5 or 6-1, especially if you weren't on him last time at 38-1.
I went to 3, Cindy's Party Boy on top, because I think this one can get to the front and then maybe party all the way to the wire. But also, that last win 2 races ago was really impressive, but then you have to go all the way back into June 18th to find the one before that.
Yeah, it was a while between drinks there, but when this horse wins, he certainly wins with authority, and that's what makes him dangerous here, because he is loaded with speed, as you mentioned, Gary. I think he is the most likely leader, or at least one vying for the lead.
I'm done.
Going into the turn. And Cindy's Party Boy, I think, is one that merits respect here at 5-2.
And then, another veteran, since we're talking about all the 11-year-olds, we have 3 11-year-olds and a 10-year-old in here. Mr. X has 60 wins and sort of saying, hey, I'm in this race too,
Yeah, it hurts to not put him, in the top 4, especially on top, actually, because I'm a big fan of Mr. X. I've picked him, countless times in his races. He's a 60-time winner. Last time I left him off, he got a tough trip, ended up finishing 4th. I'm not sure how it works out tonight. He's a horse that I think when he doesn't have an inside post now,
he's got a hard time getting to the lead, and he doesn't do his best work from off the pace. So I think he might have a tough go of it tonight. I left him out of it, but I certainly respect him as a racehorse.
Well, the odds have been bouncing all over the place, and now they have finally come down to a favorite status of 8-5. That's about the lowest we've seen for any of the horses. Cindy's Party Boy at 8-5 is my top one. Your top one, Rob? Number 4 is Shipping Out off the claim. Field 4, race number 7, taking up their positions. Dusty Lane Morgan, Mystic Messenger. In the center, Cindy Party Boy and Shipping Out. To the outside, Mr. X, Bravado Sealster. It's a field of 6. It's the 7th dash. They're at the top of the stretch, and here they come. And the field for the 7th race is at the starter off in Cindy's Party Boy. Mr. X is gunning from the outside. Dusty Lane Morgan. Those three sprint hard into the first turn. Mr. X, though, is going to come on and clear to the front. Dusty Lane Morgan, Cindy's Party Boy, wants to squeeze over to the pylons third and is able to do so in front of Mystic Messenger. Then Shipping Out and Bravado Sealster. Mr. X at 7-1 has got the lead. Dusty Lane Morgan is second. Cindy's Party Boy is third. Then it is Mystic Messenger and Shipping Out and Bravado Sealster. And they work their way past the opening quarter. 27-4 is the opening panel. And the odd numbers have the first 3 spots, with the even numbers the trailing 3. And it is Mr. X who's on top. Dusty Lane Morgan and Cindy's Party Boys. They roll on towards us. Mr. X in Tyler Borth is sharp right now and leads by 2.5. Dusty Lane Morgan second. Cindy's Party Boy is going to party first over now, giving cover to Mystic Messenger. Then it is Shipping Out and Bravado Sealster. 57-4 is the halftime and a 30-second second panel. And Mr. X with a lead of a couple of lengths. Dusty Lane Morgan, Cindy's Party Boy. On the outside, he's grinding a little closer, but still has work to do to collar a sharp Mr. X. And now the backfield in motion. Shipping Out is out wide and is shipping up into contention. And it is Mr. X, 3/4, 127. Here comes Shipping Out. Dusty Lane Morgan's on the inside, then Cindy's Party Boy, Mystic Messenger, and Bravado Sealster. It is Mr. X. Now might have to deal with Shipping Out, who's shipping right up alongside Mr. X. They turn for home. Mr. X and Shipping Out, and Bravado Sealster is flying late on the outside as they come to the finish, and it is going to be Shipping Out to win. Bravado Sealster picks up second. Then Mr. X in fourth is between Dusty Lane Morgan and Mystic Messenger. Shipping Out didn't ship up into the lead until the stretch drive, but it was a pretty strong performance coming for home, Rob.
It was, yeah, certainly not the way we drew it up, right, Gary? I didn't think we were going to be coming from back there with Shipping Out, but it was a solid effort, no question about it. The claimed horse, there is no tomorrow, and really, it was kind of an interesting way that it all came to be. Mr. X got a clear lead, which I did not expect. I thought it was going to be a very busy front end, but I guess in a 6-horse field, sometimes you might have a little bit less action in the early going. And when Mr. X got that second quarter breather, I thought he might be trouble, but Shipping Out proved to be much the best. But Bravado Sealster, horse that really comes alive at the end of the mile in his last 2. He's been finishing strongly and probably on the cusp of a win.
Yeah, he just doesn't even worry about the first part of the race. Last week he was 8th at 3/4 and second by, was he beaten a nose? You don't usually see that. That's a long way. And then he was last early this time again.
Yeah, it's true. And really, didn't really have any interest early, right? And didn't really need to, because he's got gears late in the mile. 4-1. I mean, this is going to probably be a decent exacta. And Mr. X stuck around for third. Listen, I totally disrespected him by not putting him in the top 4, and I think that was a mistake.
And Cindy's Party Boy, part of the 3 that left out, Dusty Lane Morgan, Cindy's Party Boy, and Mr. X, that coming first up just didn't fit him at all.
No, not really. And I actually thought that he'd be the leader. And when he ended up in the 3-hole, I knew that was a rough spot for Cindy's Party Boy. I think it's front end or bust for that horse.
Well, I'll tell you, shipping out, it's not front end or bust. It's he showed us tonight a different style than the last start, and that style worked as well for shipping out. 10-year-old Badlands Hanover Bay gelding, owned by Greg Mason and Jim Stewart. Jim is also the trainer. The winning drive to Jay Harris. It's the fourth win this year, 36th lifetime for shipping out. Shipping into the winner's circle at 157-2. The seventh race payouts for shipping out 563 50 296. Bravado Silter 510 450. And 5 Mr. X for $10 pick 3. 3 of 3 845. $2 exactor, $21.70 try, $37.30 super, $135.30. the 7th race over finish. 456132. That's 456132. Fans note the claim at number 4, Shipping Out. The new trainer will be Tom Riley. Tom Riley on 4, Shipping Out. Field 4, race number 8 is on parade. 1, Rave Review. Lauren House drives and trains and owns. Number 2 is Seal the Dark Cullen, Caliber Cassidy Schneider, Colonel Schneider Jr. And number 3 is Time Waits on No One, Travis Henry for George McClure and Catherine McClure. 4, Dixie by Emma, Tyler Borth for Mike Timpedo and Colleen LaMarche. And 5, Bet You Love Me, Scott Coulter for Lori LePage and Rebecca Williamson and Connie McTaggart Field of 5, race number 8. Let's get a look at this field. And, well, we're going to start. We're going to stay right there with Bet You'll Love Me. And Rob's a top pick. Now, this is one that's got only one win on the year, but comes in pretty good form. Almost won here last time out.
Yeah, she did almost win last time. She only missed by 3/4 of a length. And she's hit the board in each of her last 4, Gary, with 3 of those efforts coming at Sarnia. I thought that you'd want to be involved with either the 4 or the 5 here on the business end of it, and I thought she'd be the bigger price of the 2. But the problem right now is the variance isn't that big, and now she goes down to even money. So maybe she'll end up being the shorter of the 2, and maybe the place supposed to go the other direction. But I thought Bet You Love Me's been racing well enough that she merits respect in here and can be right there at the wire.
And number 4, Dixie Biama, did get the better of Bet You Love Me last time out, but not by all that much. And that was post 1 for Dixie Biama. Now it's post 4. Dixie Biama is one that makes a second start for Mike Timpano.
Yeah, second start for this barn. And the thing that you had to like about Dixie Biama was the horse that was always kind of camera shy. Getting that taste of victory again might really put her in a good mindset in this race here. And from post 4, she does have early foot off the gate. She's shown it before in her career as well. And she has done her best work, getting down to this level. There's no question about it. So she's now also making her second start in this $15,000 condition claimer. I think there's a good chance she can, be the first one to the pylons and get around the inside 3. It's just a question if she can do it again on the engine. I thought maybe Bet You Love Me get the better of her this time. If the prices stay where they are right now, I would still lean in that direction just because she's pretty short at 3 to 5.
And then a couple of others to look at. Number 1, Rave Review is one that, we saw this one race from well off the pace and win here at 82 to 1 back, I think, what was that, Canada Day. And Rave Review is, currently 6 to 1.
Yeah, and I've got very vivid memories of that race because I remember I needed Larjan Lena. She ended up finishing 3rd, and this one came from out of it and was really good in victory at that bombs away price. Since then's kind of been up and down. She hasn't really been the most consistent type, but she's also had to work from difficult posts at times, post 8, and then since then her best post was last time with the 3-hole. She ended up getting placed up to 3rd from 4th. That was at Sarnia in a race that I've kind of been keeping an eye on, right? Because tearing up the credit to pretty solid mare. She's now gone on to Mohawk Park, and you've got Bet You Love Me coming out of that race as well as Rave Reviews. So I think from the pole position, she's dangerous. I think she's going to leave out. She's just a favorable trip. She can be right there at the wire with these, and right now she's boasting the most value at 4 to 1.
Number 3, Time Waits on No One. Couldn't wait to get away from post 7, I think, and back to a better spot on the gate.
Yeah, listen, it's always difficult from out there, right? Post 7 is, it's a winnable spot at times here, but it's still very few and far between. And now getting back down to a more palatable spot in post 3, and was a winner, against similar company 2 back from the 2-hole. 6 to 1 on that occasion and 29 to 1 last time just shows you how difficult that post is, and I think is in with a chance tonight. I mean, it's a 5-horse field. It kind of depends the makeup of it. We've seen sometimes in a 5-horse group or 4-horse group, there's some racing. Sometimes they just line up. So it'll really depend on the makeup of the race to see if one like Time Waits on No One can get into the race.
Well, and also Time Waits on No One had 4 consecutive good races before that last one. So that last race, I think that's just a post 7 factor and is 5 to 1 on the board. But you're on 3, Bet You Love Me. You got to love 3 to 1. I went with Dixie Biama, 4 to 5 on the board. I know why you don't like Dixie Biama. Kind of disappointed you there on a start, and I think you're holding it against Dixie Biama.
You know what? I actually, when I made my selections, I totally forgot you're going to bring this up again. I probably should have put her on top. I picked this horse really countless times, and yes, she disappointed me, in particular in that night. But hey, I recognize she's a pretty nice horse. Maybe she gets the job done this time around.
It's a field of 5 for race number 8. Rave Review, Seal the Dark on the inside. In the center of Time Waits on No One. On the outside, Dixie Biama and Bet You Love Me. Field of 5, race number 8. I bet you Rob loved that comment. And here comes the field for race number 8. There at the start of the rough. And it is time. Waits on no one. Dixie Bama, rave review and seal that are. Bet you love me. And they work their way on around the turn. Time waits on no one. Is not going to wait for anyone to make the lead. Is going to make it herself as she races on down the backstretch in front by 2. Rave review is second. Seal the Dark third. Then Dixie Bama. And Bet You Love Me is trailing the field. Time waits on no one. It's 7-1. It's got the lead. Opening a quarter for time. Waits on no one. 28-1. Rave review second. Seal the Dark third. Then it is Dixie Bama who's racing fourth. And then Bet You Love Me. And they race their way off the turn heading towards the half. Being led by time, waits on no one in Travis Henry. Rave Review and Lauren House is right there close second. Then Seal the Dark. Dixie Bama is going to angle to the outside fourth and hope to flush some cover, but it's not coming out. And Dixie Bama is going to be first over. Then it is back to Bet You Love Me. 57-4 halftime, and into the backstretch they go. And it is time waits on no one. Rave Review is second. Seal the Dark third. And Dixie Bama popped out and then is kind of pooped out right now. Is back racing second last and no go. And then Bet You Love Me. And they hustle on towards three quarters. And then it is time waits on no one, who leads by 3. Rave Review. Here it comes Bet You Love Me, who was last in the early action and now is quickly bursting onto the scene. 3 quarters in 1:27. Time waits on no one. Bet You Love Me. Then Rave Review and Seal the Dark and Dixie Bama. And the field turns for home. And here it comes. Bet You Love Me on down the stretch drive. Bet You Love Me. Well, you didn't love her in the first half, but you love her now. Bet You Love Me. And then Seal the Dark in time waits on no one and Rave Review. Bet You Love Me won 56-4 at a lovely 5-2.
Hey, you're right, Gary. I wasn't too fond of the early parts of that race. I'll be honest. I was really wondering if she was going to be able to get into it, because she got away last. I know it's a short field, but then her cover was not really helping her too much. We saw Dixie Bama kind of toiling out there first over, and this one had to, after getting backed up by that one, had to come wide around and make a long sustained move to get to the lead and end up winning. So it was a real good effort from Bet You Love Me, and very happy she was able to get there, because had a pretty long face for much of that mile.
Well, and the tote board was all over Dixie Bama at 4-5 and popped out. And I guess your recent disdain, maybe that's an overstatement, but at least it was proven, because Dixie Bama didn't have anything.
Yeah, not tonight. I mean, she's a horse that, again, she's kind of been inconsistent throughout her career. And you said, the rail last time probably helped her chances. Obviously, it did. I mean, she went to the front and was able to win on the front end. This time around, no bueno trying a move first over. So, Bet You Love Me ended up going off at a decent price of 5-2. I said you want to be on the right side of value with those two, and some good price underneath there as well to make these exotics pay.
And also we saw time waits on no one. A much different effort to getting away from post 7. Flashed early speed.
Yeah, flashed early speed. And I was kind of wondering what she would do tonight, and you're right. She lost right off the gate. So it just shows you the difference, right? Post 7 to post 3, it actually brings you into the race, and time waits on no one. Good effort to be third.
Well, it is Bet You Love Me coming back in front of us. A 4-year-old better than Cheddar Bay mare, owned by Rebecca Williamson and Connie McTaggart. Lori LePage, the trainer. And it is the second win this year, 6th lifetime. The winning drive to Scotty Coulter, the 10 Tornado, victorious in the 8th. Eighth race payouts 5. Bet You Love Me 740, 410, 252. Seal the Dark 870 and 473. Time waits on no one 340. $2 exactor 50 to $80. Try 130.85. Eighth race order finish from the top. 4, 2, 3, 5, 1. That's 4, 2, 3, 5, 1. Field for the ninth on parade 1. Rockin' Bow. Paul McKenzie for Catherine Flanagan and Winters Racing. Number 2, Final Cheese Recipe. Travis Henry for Blake McIntosh and Kim and Dan Sargent. And number 3 is Gold Train. Brett McDonough for Ron McDonald and Edward Gork. And number 4 is Wildcat Rocky. Steve Byron for Dale Hurt and Wildcat Stables and Tony Greta. And 5, Global Crash Time for Alan Shelton. Number 6, Ship Disturber. Talbot for Mike, Tim Penniman, Jamie Trott, and Paul Kelly. And number 7 is None of Your Business. Jason Ryan for Kevin Botts and Marion Leonard Christopher. Field of 7, race number 9. Let's get a look at this field. And Rob, we're both on Final Cheese Recipe, and I'm glad to be siding with you because you've kind of had the hot hand the last few races. And Final Cheese Recipe is the one that you decided is going to be your top one here. And the fans agree. Even money.
Yeah, I think that this is one you want to land on, Gary. It is moving up in class slightly, but I don't even know if you could really call it that because it's a slight bump up in condition. But I think that the actual, the quality of the field is probably a little bit similar to what he faced last time. He was away third and then came first up and blew the field away. And he's a horse that really gets brave off favorable trips usually. But that was a tough one last time. I think with post 2 today, we're going to see him go right to the lead and try to control this throughout 1 to 2 on the board. No surprise there. I think he's going to be very difficult to beat.
And then number 1, Rockin' Bow is one you got to use pretty high up in the Super High 5, I think, and might well be able to be a trip horse from post 1.
He's not getting any love right now. And if you remember last time, I desperately needed this horse. And the trip didn't really work out. Ended up getting locked in and shuffled. When he finally got around horses, angled around horses late, ended up, really making a good account of himself, flying late and only got beat by a slim margin. I thought it was a solid effort. Now, he's missed a week since then, so obviously there's that piece of it, but he gets to work from the pole position again, and I really think that he can be the main player underneath, if not challenge the favorite here. 9-1 on the board. That's a giant price on Rockin' Bow. Love the fact that Paul McKenzie comes right back aboard.
I really wanted to take Ship Disturber on top because I thought that effort at Georgian was really good. But that was post 1. But still, I just thought it flashed a lot of speed. And but now has to deal with post 6. 8-1, though. I think I'd be on that price.
It's a big number. I'm actually shocked, and I have those horses picked for third, so it's hard for me to get to him on top even at a bigger price. But I agree with you. I mean, it's a 52 and 3 mile. Now, granted, that's a Georgian, a 5/8 mile surface, but you still got to respect that kind of speed. Now, post 6 tonight on a half, it's going to probably be a little more difficult for him to get out towards the lead. I don't think he can clear any like the legs of Final Cheese Recipe. But I think you do have to use him underneath, and he probably warrants to be a shorter price than that. I expect him to be around 3-1. He's 7-1 right now. I'd still be using him on the bottom end of the exotic, so I can't get to the win position.
And those horses that you get mad at because they race well on the days you don't think they will, and vice versa? Wildcat Rocky is that horse for me. 8 wins and 16 starts in the year, and I'll bet you the 8 times that he didn't win is the times I took him.
Wow, that's a rough one. I mean, so for the last race I had mine with Dixie Biama, and now you've got yours with Wildcat Rocky. Listen, very talented pacer in his own right. Like you said, he's won 8 out of 16, and you would have called a lot of those races, no question about it. I'm a little bit surprised, too, that he's 15-1. Now, granted, that does fall into the fact that Final Cheese Recipe is taking a lot of action right now, but Wildcat Rocky can certainly make his way into the exotics here and worth using even in the second and third position at 14-1.
And I'm going to ask you who you have as your bottom pick here, and don't tell me that it's none of my business. Well, actually, it is at 20-1.
That's a good one. Yeah, none of your business. I mean, one that we kind of got sour on last time for making that early break. I'm just thinking if he can stay flat tonight off that effort 2 back, he can work his way into the Super High 5.
Well, it is a field of 7 for the 9th race featuring a Super High 5 and Rockin' Bow Final Cheese Recipe on the inside. Gold Train, Wildcat Rocky, and Global Crush to the outside. Ship Disturber and None of Your Business. Field of 7, race number 9, the final dash. Here they come. Giddy up.
Giddy up.
Field for the 9th is at the start of the raw. Final cheese recipe, Wildcat Rocky, and Rockin' Bow, Ship Disturber, None of Your Business, and then Gold Train, and back to Global Crush. Into the backstretch they go, and Wildcat Rocky comes on to get the lead. Final cheese recipe, None of Your Business is driving hard and is racing third and popping out. Final cheese recipe wants to come back around and reclaim the lead. Wildcat Rocky in the pocket. None of Your Business is on the outside still. And then it is back to Rockin' Bow and Ship Disturber and Gold Train, and trailing is Global Crush. Final cheese recipe, None of Your Business is moving on the outside and wanting to give some business to Final cheese recipe. Wildcat Rocky third. Then it is Rockin' Bow and Ship Disturber well back. Gold Train further. Global Crush. 27 seconds, a solid opening panel. Final cheese recipe having to deal with None of Your Business. And Wildcat Rocky on the inside, getting a trip in the pocket. And then Rockin' Bow and Ship Disturber and Gold Train and Global Crush. 55 seconds into the backstretch they go. Final cheese recipe. Wildcat Rocky enjoyed seeing the fractions come up at the half and is their second. But right now, Final cheese recipe is starting to get away on Wildcat Rocky a bit. Who's 3 lengths in arrears. Rockin' Bow is third. None of Your Business backs away. Ship Disturber on the inside is fourth now. But it is Final cheese recipe. Now Wildcat Rocky is closing. Rockin' Bow third. And Ship Disturber fourth. And then Global Crush and back to Gold Train. None of Your Business is back trailing 3/4, 124. Final cheese recipe off a strong half, still has work to do. Wildcat Rocky second on, down the stretch where they come. Final cheese recipe. Wildcat Rocky is closing, but Final cheese recipe was able to hold on and fend off. Wildcat Rocky was closing into final strides, and then it was Rockin' Bow and Ship Disturber 153 and 2. I'll tell you, at the half, I thought we were going to see Wildcat Rocky, but Final cheese recipe, Rob, was able to hold on in the final strides.
Yeah, he was. It was a game effort. I mean, I thought the same thing. When Wildcat Rocky started tightening up in the pocket, I said, wow, he's really brave tonight, and he might be able to, get the better of this favorite just because of the fact that he was softened up a little bit in the early going. But Final cheese recipe, a horse that swells up on the lead. He swells up when he gets a favorable trip, and was very good again tonight. But Wildcat Rocky, the horse that you said was one of your nemesis, still turned in a big effort to finish second.
Yeah, and he was able to get that trip, and then it kind of helped that None of Your Business got caught, and then that's what really forced the issue to the speed at the half.
Yeah, it certainly did. And, the interesting thing off the gate there, if you ever want to see a race where it shows how hard it is to leave from the outside post here, watch this one, because it's a 7-horse field, and Ship Disturber and None of Your Business are both going full tilt trying to get away, and neither one of them could get close because there was so much speed at the inside. So it was pretty wild early on. So we saw that half of 55 flat. And, I mean, it played out kind of logically the way we thought it would. And Wildcat Rocky, surprisingly, 18-1 is going to probably help this pay pretty decent.
Absolutely. And, 1 to 5 in Final cheese recipe, but if you're going to do it off of a half of 55 where you get chased, he certainly lived up to the billing. It's a 2-4-1-6-5, top 5 in the high 5 for the 9th race. Back in front of us is number 2, Final cheese recipe. 3-year-old Better Than Shetter Bay gelding, owned by Kim and Dan Sargent. Blake McIntosh, the trainer. Travis Henry, the winning driver. 5th win this year, 7th lifetime. Final cheese recipe, 153 and 2. Ninth race payouts to Final cheese recipe. 270, 260, 234. Wildcat Rocky, 583.71. Rockin' Bow, 260. Dollar win for 37.40. Dollar high 5, 137.55. $2 exactor, $19.80 ride, $22.45. Double 5 and 2, $11.90. Ninth race, order of finish from the top, 3162547. That's 3162547. Well, fans, that does conclude the live harness racing program for this Friday evening. Our next live racing event is this Monday with a first dash of 6:30 p.m. Buenas noches, amigos. Good night, everybody. Good night, Christine.
Good night, Gary. See you.